welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing top tips that I've picked up on myself for new mums or expectant mums, or if you're a mum already and you just want to get some new advice. First thing that I want to talk about is an app called Huckleberry. I know there's a couple of different apps, but it's basically an app that helps you track diaper changes, sleep changes, bottle feeds, temperatures. A friend recommended it to me. As soon as we started using that, it was a complete game changer for us. She slept better at night, and she napped for at least an hour each nap during the day, so it was a complete difference for us, and yeah, I really recommend it. So sleeping tips. We loved swaddling our baby until she was about 1 month. Once we couldn't swaddle her anymore, we used sleep bags. That being said, some babies don't like to be swaddled, they don't like to be snug, they want to be free, they want to be open. So some babies just prefer it when you put them down and you leave them to it. Another tip for sleeping, well, this is a personal preference. I prefer the zip up sleep suits. Really easy to get on and off. It's a lot less faffing when in the middle of the night if you need a nappy change. Just things like that. So they're a little bit on the pricier side, but I personally preferred them and I thought they were a lot better. White noise. We bought the E1 sleep sheep that activates when your baby's crying, so it turns on by itself. But for us it only lasted about 2 minutes and it just didn't really work, and sometimes it would set itself off. So the early stages I thought it was great, but as she was getting older, we ended up getting an Echo Dot, which is exactly the same price as the E1's sheep. One last tip that I have for sleeping. A lot of people buy Moses baskets. We did. We bought a rocking one and she didn't like it. A friend gave us a next to me, so I was already offered a next to me beforehand, before I bought anything, and I was like, I don't like the idea of it because I was so scared that I was going to hit her with my arm or roll on her, any of these things. Well, I mean, I personally didn't. I didn't go anywhere near her, and it was very, very comforting to have us close to her and for her to be close to us. Very easy for in the night breastfeeding. If you're breastfeeding, it's just put them up, put them back down. Whereas with the Moses basket, there's a lot of rocking. The Moses basket also doesn't last that long. Whereas the the next to me, you can put by itself. You can pull up the part that has it if your one has that. It's easy to fold down and carry with you to use as a travel cot, depending on which one you get. And it also lasts up to 6 months, where the Moses basket, I don't think it lasts even 2 months because they outgrow it very, very quickly. So personally for me, the Moses basket was a waste of money because she didn't like it and it didn't last very long. Whereas the next to me, you could travel with it, it was easy to pop it onto your bed, have it as its standalone cot, and it lasts for a lot longer, and she actually slept in it a lot better. Moving on, nappy changes. So not on all nappies, but they have a yellow or a blue stripe. So yellow means they're dry, blue means they are wet, so you could just pop to the side rather than having to take off the whole nappy. You can just find out if that line is wet. The best nappies that I found were a brand called Rascal and Friends. We went through so many different brands of nappies that we were recommended: Pampers, Mamma Mia, Sainsbury's, Friends and Flow. Friends and Flow's of, I think it's called Friends and Flow, something like that. Fred and Flow might be. They're a good top second. I think they are the most, they didn't give her a rash, and they're my top second. But Rascal and Friends, they hold a lot more. They have hardly any leakages when I had them, other than when she was really ill. Because my baby was quite slim, they had like an elastic waist rather than a tie one. So the Pampers one I found really gaped at the back, whereas the Rascal and Friends one was like elastic. So they were really good. As soon as they hit a certain age and they're a bit more wriggly, I'd say move on to the pants size, which I think comes in around size 4 possibly. The vests, they have little bits at the side, so if you have like a poo explosion, rather than having to take it over their top, the pops will just slide down and you can take them off that way. You have a wriggler or somebody that a baby that really likes to put her hands everywhere, you can fold the vest up and kind of tuck their arms in I mean, it only really works until they're about 2 months possibly, but it was a good tip because my daughter used to love to put her hands in the way, so we just used to roll them up. She was just fine. We could give them a toy to play with, which is what we do every single time she changes. Sing to them, blow raspberries on their bellies. Might be a bit difficult if you have a boy because they might wee on you. Use the nappy to wipe the bum so that you're not using so many wet wipes and things like that. And also, when they're a newborn, what I found better than wet wipes was just some cotton wool, cotton pads with some warm water. It was a lot less shock to the system. I mean, they are going to cry. They will eventually get used to it, but yeah, I just personally preferred using warm water and cotton wool. It's good advice for breastfeeding outside. If you're not comfortable just popping your boob out in public, as I know many people aren't, have 2 tops on, lift one up, pull one down, so then you're basically covered and the baby can breathe. It's not covered by like muslins and blankets and things like that, and you're also covered, so you're going to feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more protected. Boohoo have, or Misguided, I will find out, I have these nice like sling ones. I think they were a really good idea, and not to cover them too much because it does get really hot, especially in the summer. You don't want a blanket over you while you're eating. It's not very nice, but I do understand it is very, not everybody is comfortable with being open and just have their boobs out, because I know I wasn't. I was very uncomfortable with it, but it's just, your baby is hungry, it's a natural thing, get on with it. Another tip for breastfeeding is use your pregnancy pillow, make it as super comfortable, try different positions and see which one your baby prefers. You breastfed like me and you don't know too much about different teat sizes for bottles. So there's slow flow for newborns, there's a size 2 and a size 3, but there's also something that I didn't know about until recently, which is called VeriFlow. So however hard your baby is sucking, that's how much milk they're going to get in return. So it's based on how much your baby wants, and your baby will realise that, instead of going through the 1, 2, 3 sizes. But it's your preference. It's just a lot cheaper to go down the varied route way. If you are bottle feeding, you can't have it for a period of time. I think it's past maybe 1 or 2 hours, whereas breast milk is a bit longer. So a tip that I found is Tommy Tippy sell them, so I'm sure loads of other brands do. They have these cups where you put the powder in. So on your way, rather than pre-making bottles, just have some water in a bottle, nice and warm, plop this thing in, tie it up and take it with you. And then when you're ready, you can just put the powder in, shake it up and it's ready to go, rather than worrying about if the milk has been there for too long and having to take X amount and it making really heavy, whatnot. So that's just a good tip that I found. My friend did breastfeed and then she went on to bottle feed. She had the Tommy Tippy ready-made, like it's kind of like a coffee machine, I guess, for bottled milk. And all that basically does is it doesn't like mix it up for you and things like that, but it just fills up with hot water till a certain point, and then it fills it with filtered warm water, and then you shake it and it's ready to go. Save yourself 70 to 150 pounds and do that yourself. In the nights, I will have a stainless steel bottle filled with hot water, and then I'll have a jug of cool water that's already been filtered in the fridge, and then I have the powder sitting in the bottle. So if she does ever wake up for a nighttime feed, it's very quick. There's no boiling of the kettle involved or anything like that. You don't have to wait for the machine. It's just pouring half and half, shake that bottle and off she goes with her bottle. Advice is to always have extra pads with you for your boobs if you are breastfeeding, and to always have an extra top, because leakages do happen and they are embarrassing. Last thing, when they're a little bit older and they are moving on to food, my best tip is to have long sleeved bibs to save your baby's clothes, as little as possible, less mess as possible. So long sleeve bibs are very, very good for me. Also had infantile eczema, so the best creams and things like that I found was all natural products, and the one that she uses pretty much every time she gets out of the bath. Sometimes we put it on extra if her skin's a little bit dry. Coconut oil, it's the best one that I found. We didn't like any of the creams. Even the doctor's cream made her pretty dry, so coconut oil was the thing that gave her the most moisture, and it was a natural ingredient product, which I really, really liked. She's not a big fan of TV, so sometimes you need that little bit of break to just get things done. So when she was sitting in her swingy chair, I'd play some music, and there were sensory videos that had like dancing what were they dancing? Seashells. There was vegetables, bananas, fruits, things like that. They lasted, I can't even remember how long they lasted, but she loved them when she was little, so I'll link that down below. There was also a music song that my friend sent me, and it was actually for autistic children, but sometimes when she was having a meltdown and I put on this song, it used to calm her down straight away. So although it says autism and she doesn't have autism, it was a great calming tool for us, just to settle her on those extremely hysterical cries when I had no idea how to calm her down. I would just put the song on and it really settled and soothed her, and it was a lifesaver for us in those early mornings. So yeah, I'll link that down below too. Babies can only see in black and white, I think, until they're 6 weeks old, so just something to do with your baby is to print off loads of black and white faces, or you can get some books, like we got some books, and that will just keep them interested and give them something to look at, a little bit of sensory when they're little. Not too much, because obviously it will be exhausting for them, a sensory overload, but it is something that they did love, and my daughter really loved seeing black and white faces, so just a top tip. I hope this has given you some insightful knowledge, and hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing some more top tips and things like that, so thank you.